So first, let me thank Eleanor, Carla, Adrian, Gemma, Renee, Maria, Mari, Cassandra, uh, Adrian, Sally, and Caitlin for sharing their thoughts about the skills that a leader should have. Number two, sharing example of a good leader from their personal experience, and then also to talk about um, that if in your view there are any generational differences. So let me first talk through the first point, that is, what in your view are some of the very important leadership skills and traits. So after gleaning through the comments that you all made, so I identified 10 important skills, and traits that a leader should have. Number one is empathy. And then number two is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence was mentioned by quite a few of you, and I think it doesn't come to me any surprise because, the more we are aware of the emotions and feelings of others, and if we can empathize with their feelings and with their emotions, so I think that it can actually take the workplace at a next level. Obviously, always a very important aspect is listening. When we listen to staff or to each other, obviously very deeply, then we tend to understand the staff. Two other factors, which was know their staff and believe in their staff. And I think they're quite intricately linked, because if you will not know your staff, obviously you will not be able to believe in them, right? And because you will always be, doubtful about the kinds of capacities and skills which they can bring, So these 2 points are quite intimately linked and they're quite important. I think Sally mentioned that a leader should also be decisive, and that's a very important trait, especially when you are making high-stake decisions or when you are making decisions when there is a lot of change involved. Consultative, being able to communicate clearly, being able to create a lot of enthusiasm in the organization and motivation is really important. So I think all of these skills that you mentioned, and I won't say these are skills. Actually, these are traits which a leader will have, and I think they are quite important. Some of you talked about from your personal experiences about the leaders whom one of you met, or some of you met actually at your workplaces, and some of the skills that they had, which actually inspired you. And then finally, there was no consensus on the forums, which I was expecting, about whether there are any generational differences or not. But one thing which is very important for us actually to take from these discussions, and that is, to appreciate the different skills and different experiences that all of us bring to the workplace, irrespective of, the generation to whom we belong, or, the various cultural differences. Having said that, I think there are quite a few important points made about generational differences, but also, about the importance of culture, for example, in addition to the generations, how different cultures actually, contextualize leadership differently. So that's quite an important point. And I think Mari mentioned about, culture. Similarly, Cassandra, and she talked about, for example, older generations sometimes, because of their experiences, of their hard-earned life experiences, then they have a different approach towards leadership. And similarly, one of you mentioned about that how the younger generation may expect from their leaders more, as compared to when they are actually the leaders themselves, so these are important points, and I think these points actually enrich our understanding of the different leadership styles that people may have, depending on either different generation or different culture. And I think they are all valuable. Thanks very much for these very upbeat discussions, and keep it up. Thank you.